Today's top stories at NBR. Ports of Auckland argues a shift would have more adverse environmental effects than staying. The bidding up of salaries in the tech sector could make startups unaffordable. SHOTT Beverages pours $20 million into a new Auckland plant. And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Tuesday, August 17th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks so much for joining us. Listed power giant MERCURY will strive to increase its worth over the next 3 years, with a target of $700 million in earnings dependent on the company seeing through internal improvements and a pipeline of new wind farms. Shares in the Big Four generator retailer were trading up 13 cents on Tuesday after the company delivered a full-year result dampened by an unplanned plant outage and low rainfall. MERCURY reported earnings of $463 million for the year to June 30, 2021, down 6% on the prior year, and expected to earn $590 million by the end of the current financial year. By the close of financial year 2024, it aims to have earnings of $700 million. The Ports of Auckland has argued shifting the port out of central Auckland would have more adverse environmental effects than allowing it to expand its existing operations. The company's General Manager, Infrastructure and Property, Alistair Kirk, appeared before Parliament's Environment Select Committee today, which is considering submissions on the exposure draft for the National and Built Environments Act, the first of three pieces of legislation that will replace the Resource Management Act. In its submission on the NBA exposure draft, the port company said existing infrastructure needed to be more strongly protected in the legislation to avoid the environmental cost of having to relocate infrastructure because of encroaching land uses like housing. MOVAC managing partner Phil McCaw says the bidding up of salaries in response to the huge talent shortage, particularly in the tech sector, could make startups unaffordable. MOVAC is one of the most experienced venture capital investors, having invested more than $150 million into Kiwi tech startups in the past 15 years. McCaw said the pump has been primed at one end with a lot more early-stage capital available to startups. But we've got no one to spend it on, he said. SHOTT Beverages has poured $20 million into a new Auckland plant which will triple its capacity to produce fruit and coffee syrups in New Zealand as it fends off prospective buyers and targets a big gulp of the US market. The capacity of the Massey West Auckland factory, which has been officially opened by the Prime Minister this afternoon, will allow the company to reach revenue of around $60 million. Joining the NBR's Will Mace was SHOTT CEO Andrew Meehan and Chair David Shearer.
Problem with manufacturing in a proprietary way is when you're dealing with big retailers and servers around the world that they expect you to have a risk mitigation plan. Because we manufacture uniquely, we can't actually get it contract packed anywhere else. So if something happened to our Wellington factory, we would be required to manufacture it elsewhere. So we have decided to build the Auckland factory to offer that risk mitigation. It also increases our production capacity by 300%, which allows us entry into much larger markets.
SHOTT CEO Andrew Meehan and Chair David Shearer there with the NBR's Will Mace. The Electricity Authority has confirmed a reset of wholesale electricity prices is the best way to correct the undesirable trading situation, UTS, in late 2019 that cost customers $80 million. The electricity industry's regulator on Tuesday doubled down to reset and cap generation offers in December 2019 at $13.70 MWH. A ninth hydro station, Meridian Energy's Manapolri, has been added to the initial list of 8 power plants whose offers will be reset. A UTS claim is defined as an extraordinary event that may or does threaten to undermine confidence in the wholesale electricity market. Farming Supplies and Services business PGG Wrightson has announced a record dividend after a year of strong business performance in both its main divisions. Our team and the business have again proved that they are leaders in the field in supporting our customers, the agri-sector and rural communities to deliver an excellent result, the Chair Roger Finlay said. Net profit for the year to June was $22.7 million, up from a COVID-affected result last year of $7.7 million. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, aged care industry veteran says Aussie-like culture of blame and punishment towards sector creeping in. And medical cannabis industry players believe Helios Therapeutics received preferential treatment over how it handled the unauthorised removal of products from its East Auckland facility last year. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow around lunchtime for the morning's NBR Trending Stories. Then same time, same place, right here again from 5:30 tomorrow for another NBR Today.